1.
All right, this lesson is going to review adding and subtracting integers. So starting with adding integers, I like to think about integers as either gaining money or having debt and owing money. So if we just start looking at examples, let's look at this one. If you have a positive $5, but you're adding a debt of $3, so you owe somebody $3, you're going to end up having $2 in the end. Okay, or the next one, you have a debt of $10. You gain $7 back. So what is your total going to end up with? Well, you're still going to owe $3 or have a negative 3. On this one, negative 8 plus negative 9. If you have a debt of $8 to someone and you have to add another debt of $9 more onto it, well, you're going to owe a total of $17. So that's going to be a negative 17. And our last example on this page, if you have $3 and you end up getting a debt of $12, so you owe someone $12, in the end, you're going to end up with a debt of $9. So you're kind of canceling out the positives and negatives when you're doing integer addition and seeing what you're left with. Now, there is another way of doing it when you're not just trying to think about through these questions. You can use these rules if you prefer. So they would be, if the signs are the same, you can add the numbers and keep the same sign. So that would be like this one, negative 5 plus negative 14. The signs are the same, so add them together, you'd get 19. Since the sign is negative, it would end up being negative 19. Okay, but if the signs are different, you can subtract the numbers and put the sign of whatever number is bigger. So you'd go 35 minus 25, which is 10 in this case. The negative numerical value is bigger. 35 is bigger than 25. That means that this would end up being a negative 10. Okay, next example, negative 15 plus 45. So you go 45 minus 15, end up with 30. My positive value is larger than my negative value, so my answer is going to stay a positive 30. So that's integer addition. If we go on to subtraction, we can think about it the same way as having money and having debt, but we're removing it this time instead of gaining money or having more debt. So the first example is, let's say you owe $5, okay, and you're removing $6 more. Well, you didn't have that to go in the first place, so you're going to end up going further into the negatives. So negative 5, take away $6 more that you didn't have, you're going to end up negative $11, further into the negatives. Okay, this one, let's say you start at negative $10, so you have a debt of $10. Now you are removing $4 of that debt. Okay, so it's actually a good thing to remove debt, so you're increasing your number. So if you remove $4 of that debt, now you only have $6 of that debt left. Okay, let's try the next one. You have $7. Okay, you're going to remove $3 of debt that you would have had. So if you're removing debt, again, you're increasing. So this is going to end up giving you $10. Okay, you're going to increase. And this last one, okay, let's say you're at $15, but you're removing a positive $20. All right, this means you're going to end up in the negatives because you start off with 15, you're removing $20. So you end up at negative $5 or in debt $5. Okay, so that's one way I like to think about subtracting integers and whether the number is going to increase or decrease. Now there are a rule you can follow. Okay, another way to do it is to add the opposite, it's called. So we're going to switch our subtraction sign to a plus sign. But if we do that, whatever the sign is on the second number, we have to switch it to the opposite sign as well. You never switch the sign on the first number though. Okay, so this first one, -5, subtract a -15. We're going to end up switching this to a positive. And since the -15 had a negative sign, we switch it to a plus sign, positive sign. And now we do our integer addition, which addition is usually easier than subtraction. So we can do that. -5 plus a positive 15 ends up giving you a positive 10 when you cancel it out. This example, 7 subtract a -8, change that to a positive, change that to a positive. 7 plus positive 8 gives you 15. Okay, this next one, we switch this sign to a plus sign. Now this 15 was a positive, so we have to actually make it a negative now. So -4 plus a -15 gives you -19. So that's another way you can subtract integers. Let's do just a few more examples of these. -7 subtract a -8. So I can plus a positive, I end up getting a positive 1. Or if you were to think about that, -7, take away $8 of debt. Okay, if you take away debt, that's a good thing. It's going to increase. You're going to end up with $1. 8 subtract 15. Well, I could change this to a plus. Make that a negative. 8 plus a -15 is -7. -10 subtract 23. So if you can visualize that, if you're subtracting a positive number, you're going to be decreasing further from what you had. So this is going to end up being -33. And finally, 45 subtract a -15. So you're taking away debt or adding a positive. So you're going to end up with 60. So those are some examples of integer addition and subtraction.